Hello and welcome to Ask Kelsey. My name is Kelsey Fox Bennett. I am an embodied self-love and mindfulness coach, a healer, an educator, and someone who just loves sharing all the healing tools, tips, and insights and wisdom that I have received with you. So I'm super excited about today's question because it's really juicy and I think you're gonna like it. So let's dive right in. Our question comes from a mom today, and she writes, I feel like our culture tells us that self-care is selfish, and I'm wondering where the line is between the two. Especially as a caretaker, I find myself taking excellent care of my kids, but constantly forgetting to take care of myself. Jesus or Mother Teresa wouldn't say, sorry, I can't help you right now because I have to go do something for myself, right? And there are so many messages like no pain, no gain, and nothing in life comes easy. So how do you face or answer those cultural messages and still show up for yourself? This is an anonymously submitted question. I love it so much I can hardly stand it because it is so applicable and it is definitely one that I have heard before. Yay! So let's dive right in. I'm gonna answer this in parts because there's so much in this question, right? The first part is this whole balance between self-care and selfishness. First of all, I want you to reframe what you believe self-care is. My definition of self-care is listen with love and take loving action. Listen with love and take loving action. So that means tuning in, listening with love, seeing what's coming up in your system, in your mind, in your heart, in your body, and then taking a loving action. And the loving action can be as small as a sip of water or a deep breath, or it can be as big as taking a day off or a week off, or going for a night out or getting a massage, whatever it is, right? But really, it's those two simple things. Listen with love and take loving action. Now that we have that definition, this question between the line of self-care and selfishness, I really believe is a focus on perspective, right? So something that is self-care is a nourishment of the self for the greatest good of all. It's acknowledging that all of us are part of a bigger picture. And when we do something that nourishes us, it raises the whole picture. Whereas an act that is selfish is only focused on the good of one. Okay? So hopefully that will help clarify as you move forward in your life what is self-care and what is selfishness. Am I doing this to refill so that I can be of high service? Or am I doing this because it's only good for me and not good for anybody else? And it can be hard, as you mentioned, to find that line because we have received so many messages from culture and from our childhood that are not of service. Now, before I jump all the way to that, I want to go into the next part of your question. You say, especially as a caretaker, I find myself taking excellent care of my kids, but forgetting to take care of myself. So a few things on that note. Number one is you are a model for your kids. I know you know this because you're a conscious mama, but it is not what you say. It is what you do. It is how you show up in the world. And your kids are seeing what you're doing to yourself or not doing for yourself. And they are taking that in, not only for themselves in the future of this is what being a mom looks like, this is what being in relationship looks like. They're looking to you to see how you are acting in these variety of situations. So if your kids are your top priority, it means you also need to be really up high on the list, because unless you, nourish yourself, then you're basically giving the model of you don't need to be nourished in the world, that a mom doesn't need to be nourished, that a partner in a relationship doesn't need to be nourished, which I know isn't true. And so I want to take this as a reminder to tell you that how we treat ourselves is how the world will treat us. I know this intimately from my own experience with my family members, from my own experience in my love relationship, from my own experience in my work relationship. How we treat ourselves is how the world will treat us. So we're teaching the universe, we're teaching everyone how to treat us, whether we're a priority or not, whether we are deserving or worthy or not, whether, so if you're having some struggles in any of those dynamics, in any relationships in your world right now, where people aren't treating you in a way that feels nourishing and loving and supportive, I recommend, it's harsh, but I recommend you turn it on yourself and say, how am I not showing up for myself right now? Because this is what's being mirrored back to me. So that's just a little bit on that note. And then I want to get into this third part because it kind of ties it all together. The next thing that you say is Jesus or Mother Teresa. I love that you bring them into this. Wouldn't say, sorry, I can't help you right now, because I have to go do something for myself. And I really love that you chose these two, because yes, they are the ultimate visions of giving, right? Of selfless giving is what, is the image that they portray, right? But if you actually look at these two humans and what they did in their lives, they were filling themselves up. and here's how. They were devout in their spiritual practices. They, I didn't know them personally, but from what I know about both of them is they talked to God a lot. They prayed. They probably did their version of meditation, right? Of quiet time, of communing with the divine. They did all of that. And I have no doubt in my mind that the support that they received from their spiritual practice helped to fuel their giving. And you can do it too. You can do it too. And on that note, I really want you to check out this book, The Book of Joy, which features a beautiful series of conversations between the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, with Douglas Abrams as kind of the, leader or editor and all of that sort of stuff of the conversation. Now, I love this because, again, two amazing humans, the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who have very different religious practices, but are very, very devout. And in the book, you read about how much time they spend in meditation and in prayer and the practices. Like, it actually gives actual practices in the back of this book of how they continue to find joy and to be of high service, right? So there's so many gorgeous, loving actions in this book, and I really want you to check it out. And that's just, yet again, another reminder that these people that we see and we're like, oh my gosh, how do they do that? They spend a lot of time and energy refueling. They spend a lot of time refilling themselves, even if it is in a way that, you know, maybe isn't your choice. You can choose what your refilling, what your spiritual practices look like, what your self-care looks like, okay? And something in that book that the Dalai Lama shares, which I'm so excited to share with you, is that there is this idea of wise selfishness. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's the whole idea of a selfishness that fills you up, that is of being service. Because when you are of high service to others, it feels good. So it feels like you're being selfish, but actually you are raising the vibration, you're raising everybody up, you're nourishing yourself and others when you have this beautiful giving, right? Giving and receiving that happens all the time. And I like to remind moms that as I mentioned before, it can be so simple. It can be so simple. And you can invite your kids or your spouse or the divine to support you in the process of caretaking, of giving. I work with kids and I work with them one-on-one. And when I do, I'm often like giving them a foot massage, or I am leading a meditation for them. And I kid you not, after every single time that I do this, does not matter the kid, afterwards they say, "Can I do it for you now?" And this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity as a parent, as a caregiver, to say, yes, 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 you can. Because when I give them the opportunity to give, they practice that delicious, wise selfishness. They get this yummy feeling. It feels so good to help someone else, to support someone else, right? And in order for that to happen, I have to be willing to receive. You know, and I always giggle about this, even if their foot massage on me is like barely anything, like it's not really a massage, it still is a practice. Like they offered something beautiful and I get to say, yes, I'm ready to receive that. Thank you so much for that. And they give it to me and I feel filled up, even if it wasn't like the best foot massage. But all of this is to come back to what I said at the beginning, which is I believe that self-care is listening with love and taking loving action, and that self-care versus selfishness is this rising up, is how can I fill myself so that I can be of high service? How can I raise everyone up? And I do that by putting myself at the top of the priority list. Okay? Yay! Did we get it? It was a big question. Oh yeah, and this last piece before I let you go, thank you, this is a long one. This last piece of all these cultural messages, and they show up everywhere. Right now I'm doing a lot of love in my financial life, and I have so many messages from my parents and from culture that are telling me that I am not worthy of financial abundance, you know? And it's really all these messages, they keep us small. They aren't serving us anymore. And part of how we heal them is by loving ourselves and being open to different models, starting to repattern different models. If you need help with that, reach out to me or another healer or practitioner that you know that does coaching like this. And you know, part of how we rewire is to search out models of people who are, you know, giving abundantly and taking good care of themselves. Searching out models of parents that are exquisite caretakers of themselves and looking to them to see, how did you do that? And oh, that seems nice, right? To see a model of it working versus many times why we have these messages is because we were exposed to unhealthy models, and didn't function. So we're looking to search out models that are functioning. I'm going to provide a list below around, moms who take amazing care of themselves. Some that come to mind are my friend Latham Thomas, my friend Tara Stiles, who's a yoga person, and my friend Kate Northrup, who's the money love person that I am familiar with. I will provide links, but these 3 women pop in my head of women who are taking exquisite care of themselves, showing the world how to treat them by how they treat themselves, as well as outstanding caregivers. They are not selfish in how they show up in their families and how they show up in their bigger lives for their larger communities. These are some of the models that you can look towards as examples of what self-care, what a healthy self-care system can look like. So I hope that was helpful. That was a big one. I love you so much. Remember to listen with love, take loving action, take care of yourself. It is important. When we all take care of ourselves, everybody rises, right? We can give more, we can love more, we can be of higher service. And that is my belief, and I believe that it is essential. It is essential. You are worth it. You are worthy. So if you need more support, reach out. And if this is the first time you've been hopping on Ask Kelsey, I do this lovely series. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, or something that's more related in a specific area of career or family or relationships, or you are just looking for some more practical healing tools or tips or insights like today, let me know. Go to kelseyfoxbennett.com/ask-kelsey, and I will see you soon. Love you lots.